There aren't many times that I've been that I've been terrified, but Thanksgiving Day 2022 was by far the worst of it. My whole life leading up to that day in 8th grade, I knew something about me was different. I didn't associate or relate to the boys who would stare at girls and fantasize about being in a relationship with them. For as long as I can remember, my parents had been religious. It wasn't until 6th grade that I had even heard the word queer. I lived my life thinking that if I ever went against what my parents said, I would be damned for the rest of my life. I started questioning who I was in the month leading up to Thanksgiving, the internalized homophobia already etched into my brain. My parents had never told me about this, so it must be wrong. What didn't help was the fact that my mother would work at every school I went to. I couldn't openly figure out who I was without her knowing, but why did I feel so scared to tell her? Why was it so hard to talk to her about this? Then came Thanksgiving break when we went on a cruise. I thought that I could figure out who I was. Finally, I could meet people who I could relate to and actually figure out who I was with no strings attached, right? Wrong. When you trust the wrong person, word gets out. I was sitting and reading when someone a little older that I met in the teen club sat across from me. We talked a little bit, and I even told him that I had a crush on the guy on the ship. I said that as my dad walked past the two of us. My heart dropped. That was when I knew. I was trapped on that boat with nowhere to go. I told the guy I was sitting across from that I wasn't out yet. I hadn't even been questioning for a month. He told me that I should come out, but I was nowhere near ready. He said that things got tough between him and his father before he came out, and I shouldn't go through the same. He got up and followed my dad. I could barely see past the tears, palms sweating, heart throbbing. Looking back, that was definitely the start of my anxiety. He tapped my dad on the shoulder and told him, "Sir, your son has something he wants to tell you." I could barely breathe. I finally told him I'm queer. I barely remember the conversation. I think I blocked it out of my mind. The things that I do remember are that my dad didn't actually overhear the conversation and that I asked him if we could keep it between the two of us. I wasn't ready to come out to my mom. She wouldn't take it well. He couldn't keep a secret from her. He dragged me back to the cabin where my mom was sleeping. She woke up and I had to tell her. She could barely look at me. I hate the guy who outed me with a burning passion, but some part of me wants to thank him. Even though it scares the hell out of me to say this out loud, and I've had terrible anxiety ever since, that was the first time I could be honest with myself and with people close to me. It was the push I needed to be able to openly discover who I am. Years passed, and I've come a long way, and so have my parents. My dad is even helping me find counseling for my anxiety, and my mom has been more open to talk about who I am. I had no clue that my worst moment would end up letting me live my best life. Because of my family's initial reaction to me being queer, I don't want people to go through the same. I know for a fact that if people feel comfortable to be vulnerable with each other, communication would be better, connection through shared or unshared experiences would be easier, and it would vastly improve mental health worldwide. I want to be honest to myself and others as to who I am. I want to stop feeling so scared to open up to people and be vulnerable. I've been struggling with my sexuality and gender identity for so long. I just want to let all that weight off my shoulders and be able to feel like I can breathe again. I hate that I feel so scared just to let 2 words out of my mouth. I also want others to feel comfortable to open up to me. I want to learn how to communicate and empathize with people beyond conversation. In the book series I'm writing, there's a club/hangout spot called The Pocket, a place where people can discover themselves free of judgment, a place where people can feel vulnerable without feeling ashamed. I hope that through my writing, people can find a part of themselves in my pages. That's why I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to finally be able to learn how to help myself so that I can help others. Let people see that they're not alone, and to see that as empowering, not invalidating.